in the backyard and putting, just simple stuff like that.
Do your parents play golf?
What? Sorry.
Does your mom? No, it's okay. Does your mom or dad play golf?
My father plays golf.
So was he in the backyard with you, or did you just go out by yourself, or?
My father was in the backyard with me.
So he was encouraging you.
Yes.
And how did you develop your game to the point where you thought, I really like this and I want to do more of it? Like, can you remember what the turning point was?
I think once my mom forced me into some of the clinics, not forced, I was definitely interested, but I think the clinics for golf definitely pushed me into the right direction.
Okay. And tell me about your kind of golfing career, because I know that you play in tournaments, and how have you been getting on with those?
I've been doing tournaments for like 3-4 years.
This year will be 4. You've done 3.
I've done tournaments for like 3 years, and it's not very good in the beginning, but it definitely built up my confidence to continue doing them. Yeah.
And how old are you now, Betty?
I'm 13.
So you started when you were about 9 or 10. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
And is that just because you're based in Connecticut? Is that right?
Oh no, I'm based in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Sorry, I knew you were kind of around that area. I do apologize. So do the tournaments that you do, are they all around that area, or do you travel across the states, or have you been international?
Most of the tournaments I do are based in Pennsylvania and Pittsburgh, but I have done a handful of tournaments outside of Pennsylvania.
And how do you feel when you're going into a tournament? Are you relaxed? Do you feel nervous? Are you just really competitive? Talk me through how you feel.
I'm not super competitive. I'm typically pretty nervous, but if it's a good tournament, or I've had a lot of sleep or something like that, I tend to feel pretty relaxed.
Good. And if you are feeling nervous, do you have a way of overcoming that?
I'll probably listen to some classical music like Beethoven, Mozart, and I will just kind of chill out in the car while I'm waiting to get to the tournament.
Nice. So you like classical music as well. Do you play an instrument?
Yes, I play piano.
Very good. And are you as good at piano as you are at golf?
I wouldn't say they're proportional, but I'm fairly good at piano.
Very good. So another question that I had was, so one of the questions that we ask everybody that we interview, and that could be, elite athletes, Olympians, Paralympians, to people like you that are just starting their sporting careers, is, how does sport make you feel? How does being active make you feel? And I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on that question.
In the beginning, it's definitely a challenge. Staying active is a challenge, but once you get into a rhythm, it feels very good. You have a lot more energy. You can do more strenuous things. So that's what I like about being active.
And when you say at the beginning it's challenging, what do you think is challenging about it, or what was challenging about it for you?
Well, I think it's challenging because being active puts more strain on your body. So when you're putting more strain on your body, you're gonna feel it. And once you get used to the strain, you put even more strain on it until you reach your desired level of being active.
I saw your social media post about how you've smashed the medicine ball today. Do you do, like, what sort of training do you do outside of playing golf?
I do what's the word fitness training. I lift weights, I do cardio. I was doing a med ball slam over my head when I broke the medicine ball, and the trainer just stared at me. Yeah, I do a lot of that, and I also do golf specific exercises as well. So whenever if I will do general, and then I will get into more golf specific exercises.
Okay, so that's really interesting. What's a golf specific exercise?
It works the muscles that you need precisely for golf. Like, contrary to popular belief, you need a lot more leg strength to keep yourself grounded and stable, more so than arm strength, because your arms are just helping with the momentum, and core strength to keep yourself stable.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. What about the family of within golf? You know, do you have a good sort of relationship with the other female competitors? Do you just play as girls, or do you play as girls and boys mixed? How does it work?
We have separate gender groups, and we have separate age groups because growing and different things like that. But I do have a very good relationship with all of the golfers in my area. You know, there's always that little bit of competitiveness, but at the end of the day, we all want to see each other succeed.
Oh, that's really, really positive. And do you so I'm just relating this back to England, which is where I'm from. So in England, generally golfers belong to a golf club, and you know, that's sort of their home club, and that's where they'll play most of the time. Do you play, like, is that the same for you in Pennsylvania?
We do have a lot more public courses, which I know a lot of people do, because clubs around here sometimes get expensive. I do belong to a golf club just to get a lot of practice, because it's very convenient to have practice facilities and a course available to you.
Yeah. And I presume you have a golf coach, do you?
Yes, I do.
So your dad gave up that job, did he, and passed it on to somebody else?
Yeah, he wasn't a very good coach.
It's really hard to learn from your parents. And if you play him now, who wins?
It depends, because he can drive a lot further.
Yeah, he can drive a lot further. That's a bit of a stupid question, actually. He can probably make it up there.
But I'm still very competitive with him once we balance out the tees. I've beat him a few times. He's beat me a lot of times if you factor in my age. But I'd say within the next year or two, I will go on to beating him a lot.
That's fantastic. And what is your favorite type of shot? Like, I always used to like a drive, because when I mean, not that I'm very good, but that was my favorite, because I feel like it's like a big welly shot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of power behind it. It feels like a success. But I know that some people prefer the short game.
I'm a fan of the driver, but in my opinion, you only use it like 18 times or less. So it's not really a repetitive shot. But it's maybe a draw between my putter and my irons. I like doing both of them, because my irons, you get to feel the turf underneath you and the grass. But with your putter, you use it a lot, and there's a lot of math involved with geometry and stuff like that.
Yeah, there really is. And I mean, that's a really, really good point, actually. I've never thought about it like that, but I mean, I think you're right. Do you have a role model that you look up to within the golfing world?
I look up to Nelly Korda a lot.
Yeah.
She's an amazing golfer.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing. Hasn't she just suffered an injury recently and she was out for a little bit? Or
I believe so.
Yeah, I feel like she was. But hopefully she'll be back on tour this year. And what do you think about the coverage of golf on the TV?
I do believe that
women's golf.
Yeah, I think women's golf is televised a bit less than men. Doesn't have the same reach as men's golf, but I think it's making a bit more of a comeback, and it's becoming more popular in households.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I don't think women's golf has enough coverage, which is a real shame, because there's so many great personalities out on the course these days, and it's not always, So when I was growing up, it was kind of always the same names, you know, but now there's so many more golfers coming through, which make it really interesting and much more appealing. So yeah, I mean, I would like to see a lot more women's golf on TV. But I think if you asked anybody in the street about golf, they would just talk about the men's game. And, you know, famous tournaments like the Masters, the Ryder Cup, US Open, British Open, that kind of thing, which is a real shame. So I'd like to talk about your hearing impairment, if that's okay. But I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable at all. But I think there could be other people, other girls out there who perhaps have a hearing impairment and for whatever reason just don't think, you know, maybe they don't have the support like obviously you've got from your family to pursue a sport. And I'd just be interesting to know more about how that impacts your day-to-day life, if at all, and certainly how it impacts golf.
So day to day, I do have accommodations in school. Like I sit in the front and I have a microphone that the teacher wears. I do an elective. I do a singing elective, and sometimes it gets hard because the teacher will be too quiet and the piano will be too loud.
Right.
Other than that, it's not a huge effect in school, except in the cafeteria, but I won't get into that. In golf, my hearing aids like to compensate for the noise, and sometimes that gets a little bit, it gets a little bit too strong because then I won't hear the things I actually want to hear. So if there's like a highway next to the golf course, I will only hear the highway and I won't hear what I need to hear, like players confirming score, etc. But it like birds and noises like that. But sometimes, you know, players won't be loud enough and I might be too shy to repeat them, or I won't even know they were talking to me at all.
Right.
Because I might have my back turned or something like that. And my hearing aids present as.
Do you wear a hearing aid? Or
yes, I do. I'm wearing them right now.
Okay. And
yeah.
Is it maybe a superpower that you can, I mean, I don't know whether you would ever do this, but if you really wanted to get in the zone, you could take them out? Would you ever consider, is that the kind of thing you would do?
I mean, not exactly, because I still like having the ability to hear. Like, I'll play that type of joke on my friends or something like that. But my hearing aids has multiple modes. Like, it can block out like 90% of sound. It can let me hear all of the sound, or it can just completely shut off. So right. Yeah, I might cycle through those occasionally, but
okay, that's really interesting. Your hearing impairment doesn't impact your golf at all, which is, I mean, I can understand why it wouldn't.
The rain.
Oh yeah, the rain.
Oh, is the rain bad?
Yeah, sorry, my mother just chimed in there, but
that's okay.
I will just go back to one tournament. I had hearing aids. I had hearing aids before this model, and it was raining. I didn't have a hood on because I don't like having things on my head while I'm swinging. Yeah. And water leached into the receiver. I had to take out my one hearing aid for half the tournament.
Oh no!
I did not perform well that tournament, but
now I have to carry backup hearing aids.
Yes, I have to carry backup hearing aids.
Wow. Okay, so that is a problem. So in future, will you take them out if it rains, or will you wear a hat? Will you change your approach to the swing?
I think in the future I'll try to get maybe my hair to cover the hearing aid, or my hat to cover the hearing aid, but I typically don't resort to a hood unless it's like downpouring.
Yeah. Where do you see your sort of golfing career going? Like, do you want to be a professional golfer, or do you see it as a hobby that you'll have for life, or what do you see in the next few years?
I mean, I will definitely take the opportunity to go pro if presented, but I know that it's a very risky path to take, and I do want stability in the future, so I might use it as a way to get a scholarship for to a good college and play in college. And if I can go pro, then I will maybe go pro. But other than that, it's gonna probably die in college.
Oh, I don't like this.
Well, not die, but that's professionally. I don't see myself going pro.
Okay. And do you do any other sports?
Yes, I ski as a hobby.
Okay. Yeah, we've just been skiing in Colorado over the holidays. That was fun. Okay, so it's not as if, but what I mean is you're not doing sort of another sport that would conflict with golf, if you see what I mean. They're two very different sports. And what would you say? So golf, you know, I love watching golf. I cannot play it. You obviously love playing it. But sometimes golf has a bad reputation as being boring, and that it's something that only kind of old retired people play. So what would you say to a girl who might, read our blog and she might think, I want to give it a go, or why does Betty do that? It's such a boring sport. Like, what would you say in defense of golf?
It's not boring. Once you play it for the first time, you see what what par is supposed to be, and you see how much better you could do. It keeps you in the game, and just the frustration aspect of it also keeps you in. But once you get the hang of and grapple the frustration and grapple your scores and get used to knowing that it's not golf is frustrating, that's kind of part of it. Once you get used to that, it becomes really fun just to see the scenery, smell the air, and go outside.
Yeah, it's a good walk.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I really like your comments about frustration. I once read a quote which was that golf is a game of like inches and yards, because it's the small distances matter just as much as the big distances matter. So it's quite and it is a frustrating game. But it's fun to watch. I love watching golf.